Yeah.
Hello. We're live for episode 2 of Finding Your Purpose. I'm your host, Stephen Leggett, and always photobombing with us is this chap up here, the diabetes destroyer. It's my namesake for the purpose of this show, but also for the purpose of what I deliver, which is a reversal of type 2 diabetes. And I'm really pleased to have with me another one of my terrific friends, Rik Stevens, today. And Rik Stevens is a health, nutrition, and mental health coach. And he works a lot with emergency services, and I think he's got a lot to offer. I'm being very personal here, but since I recovered from type 2 diabetes, my health could do with improving now. I could do with bolstering that and getting my fitness levels back up. So from a very selfish point of view, I wanted to get Rik here and give me a few tips on how to get a healthier mind and body. But before we do that, Rik, I always like to start off with understanding how people found their purpose. Now, it's a little bit different for you, I think, because you've been on purpose really since the beginning of your career. Tell me a little bit about how that developed and how that golden thread changed over the course of the last 20 years, Rik.
Yeah, well, it started from when I was a little boy. Always wanted to join the police service, and eventually I did join the military, joined Royal Military Police in '92, and in '97 moved across to the Metropolitan Police. So it's something I've always wanted to do, to serve and help others, and life evolves through that as well. And I've done lots of training, to teach and teacher training as well. So I teach people how to become police officers, do their officer safety and self-defense stuff, and then eventually I was a dog handler as well. So I taught dog handling skills and taught dogs. So it's trying to get the best out of people has been throughout my career, what I wanted to do. And then in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, a lot of people around me have been struggling. One of my daughters, or both my daughters, struggled through COVID, and anxiety coming out of COVID. People at work, they've got their own issues and struggles, and it's just created more of an interest for me into how to help them. So I've sort of gone away and learned stuff. Then as a freak chance, I met someone who was teaching hypnosis at the time, and I was doing some police dog training, and it's just a random chance, and just got talking to him, and I got swooped into hypnotherapy, which is something I was interested in but never took part in. And so in the last 2 years, I've studied to be a hypnotherapist, a mental welfare coach, which looks a lot of nutrition and exercise as well. So I was a PTI in the army, so fitness has always been a theme throughout my working life. Nutrition also was quite an interesting topic that I've always followed throughout my life. And then this hypnotherapy on top to help people how they think and understand things, that was sort of the icing on the cake. So in the last year, I've been helping in nearly a charity status, but fellow police officers and any emergency services getting over their dark places. So, they deal with a lot of stress, they're understaffed, and it's just a constant relentless pressure of work, and what they deal with is sometimes quite horrific. So they need a bit of a depressurize and to let go, and that's sort of where I've really moved into.
Wow, that sounds like it's so needed. Where did this passion? I know you said from a very early age you wanted to serve, and that's what you ended up doing. But where did that desire? Did it come from reading comic books? Did it come from your parents? Where did that come from, do you think?
It's quite a sad thing. A lot of police officers said this is something I've always wanted to do. And when you look at people going on their interviews and their boards, this is something I always wanted to do. But that's so unaccountable and quantifiable that it's just something people say. But for me, I had my dad had a very close friend who was a police officer, and I sort of followed his journey. I was just reading whatever I can about the police at the time, watching policey type programs, and it was just the the adventure. Not being stuck in an office was a big pull for me, but getting out and dealing with people and sort of crusading for the right thing as a youngster. That's how it was. So that's
I've
sort of.
just got a bit of a smile on my face now. I'm remembering there was a series called Z Cars. I remember that one. I even remember there was a chap called Dixon of Dock Green.
Yeah, Dixon of Dock Green, more my era. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I remember that as well. And the Sweeney, I thought life as a policeman must be really exciting. Watching the Sweeney, you know.
Yeah.
It was. It could have. I could have ended up in the police force, but not with my size and my shape. So I think at the time you had to be 6'1" or something like that to be in the police force. If I remember, they've changed that age, that height thing now, haven't they?
Just before I joined it sort of all changed. But yeah, you used to be 6 foot. I think it was 6'1". And then women had to be 5'10" or something like that. But yeah, all that's gone now. Yeah, I work with people that are 4 foot, 5 foot. It's, you know, cognitive ability is more important than brute strength nowadays.
Okay, so talking about that thread, if you like, of mental health and level of fitness that you need to be in emergency services, are the two very closely correlated, Rik? You know, does strong mental health, does a strong body help you with your mental health?
Well, my tagline is a healthy mind, healthy body equals a healthy life. So I believe very much so. A lot of people, they withdraw, they sit in their rooms, or they get home and they don't go out. And it's a problem with a lot of police officers is when they're at work, they've got the serving police hat on and they go out and deal with anything. But then when they get home, the uniform comes off and they don't know what to do. And because of the shift work, you lose touch with the people you used to know. You know, they're going out on a Saturday night, you're going to work. So they end up not inviting you out so much. And you do lose your old friends and just the same old people at work you mix with. So when they get home, they have no drive and they just sort of tend to sit indoors, turn to the drink or something like that. So just getting outside and getting that living in the now, as I call it, you know, seeing life as it is now, that is so good for your mental health. And just the physical activity of walking and just breathing the fresh air, get the blood pumping, it's good for your body all round.
Yeah. And there's a long-term thing. It must be so difficult to transition from a role like that, which I guess is fairly physical, really, to perhaps a more sedentary lifestyle at home. So there might be a huge dichotomy, I'm guessing, between life at work and life at home, as you've just implied now.
Yeah, and it can be, and it does affect. You know, I've chatted to a couple of young lads that there's no reason to go out at home. You know, well, there's nothing to do. I'll just sit home, watch loads of box sets of films or whatever. But when they get to work, they're all dynamic and do anything they can. It's just a shame that it's a big juxtaposition there, where, you know, trying to educate them is to go out and be you know, a member of the community, join scouts, rugby, you know, any sort of thing to help someone else. It's getting you out of the house, getting you more integrated into society and away from just this blinkered police eye or emergency service eye.
Yeah. I can kind of understand, empathize a little bit with that. I mean, my journey obviously very, very different from that, but in a way, I'm looking back now to when I reversed my type 2 diabetes, and it was a big celebration. It was 20 years I'd had this condition for, and I'd got rid of it. But there's part of me that, well, most of me that says, well, that's not the end of it, because I'm left with a body now which is a lot less weighty than it was before. But I feel I need to go to an extra level, Rik, because it's not as, I don't feel I'm in the optimum body right now. And I know it's a bit odd to talk about my body as a dislocated thing, but at the end of the day, we're not our bodies, but we have to, it's the only way we can live is to live within them. So I feel the next stage for me is actually needs to be actually me recovering some, well, I never really had it, but gaining some sense of fitness of my body. So, going back 2 years now, I did start jogging, and I have it in my head that I'd like to start doing that again. And I only ever got to 5K. And, I'm quite embarrassed to tell you now, but it used to take me an hour to run 5K. But it was the fact that I was moving, and it was the fact that I was doing it, and I used to do it 3 times a week. And I used to feel great just from that sense of, I'd run 5 kilometers. I was ready for the day. I was ready for whatever life threw at me. And I was from a mental health perspective, I think I was in a really good place. Is there any chance that me at 57, that I can have that back?
Absolutely. Of course there is. I mean, you look back at when you were running, that was 15K a week, 15 kilometers a week. That's more than a lot of people do, throughout a year, walking, whatever. And it's the physical effort of just raising the blood pressure, raising the heart rate, breathing more. It's just, holistically, we are animals that move. We are designed as cavemen for hundreds of thousands of years to move through the jungle. And we're also designed to carry things as well. So, we go out hunting, we were designed to carry the things back. So it's just, we are designed to move, not sit around. So the default position should be walking, jogging, and carrying things. So at 55, there's no reason why not. You can't. I mean,
you've just knocked a couple of years off me, Rik, but I like that. 55, I'll sit with that one.
Over 55, there's no reason why not. I mean, you start walking. The thing is, you've got to take it slow. I went down a path of not doing much exercise, and it's taken me 5 years to get to a level that I'm happy with, and I still want to improve. But initially I went running, and I ran for 2 miles. I used to run for like 10 miles all the time, but I ran out 2 miles and I was absolutely knackered, and I had to walk 2 miles back. So you've got to sort of reframe how you're thinking, and then build up slowly and have a little achievable benchmarks.
Yeah. That fills me with a great sense of hope, actually, Rik. So I can get there again. That's what you're saying to me. And I know you work a lot with emergency services right now. Would you work with someone like me, who was recovering from a long-term illness, if you will, and looking to regain that sense of strength and fitness? Am I your typical kind of client or not?
You're not a typical kind of client, but you're I work mainly with mindset, and let's get you motivated, and let's get, initially I like to get people off the couch and the sofa. Let's get you moving. Moving is better than not moving. And then we can just ramp that up each time. So 3 times a week, let's get together and just motivate you. Make sure you are doing the right types of exercises and right little challenges. And then sort of every now and again, we'll measure how far you're running. So you don't have to go out running Monday, Wednesday and Friday and sort of hit these 5Ks or whatever. You can do other exercises that complements the running, and then sort of every week you do a bench test of how far you're going. But challenge you, let's do it.
Wow. It sounds like you're really laying down the gauntlet there. I'm getting quite excited about this idea. It's really, is this something that you would do to help me to get to that level of fitness? And
definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Well, if you can do that, I'd be chuffed. I really am chuffed about it, just thinking about it now. But let's make this. There may be others who are watching this this episode now who are thinking, that's broadly where I am. I've not done any exercise, or I've done very little exercise for the last 10, 15, however many years. I've got a sedentary job, and like Stephen, I'd like to be up and doing more. Could they, you and I, can we work out a way of incorporating them and getting getting others involved in this challenge. We can't do all the planning online now, but I'm really excited about this and about getting others on board when maybe we could do stuff on the YouTube channel or something like that. Would that work?
Yeah, we can create a Facebook group or join one of my Facebook groups or a YouTube channel. But yeah, we can document it. Where are you at the moment? What are you out jogging, running, or are you just walking? What level? So everybody else can see you and go, right, I'm there.
Okay, yeah, my benchmark then. Okay, so we start off at a fairly low point. I am a regular user of Tai Chi Qigong exercises, so I do practice that probably 4 times a week. I go walking, and I have done since I started reversing my type 2 diabetes for the last 9 months or so. I tend to walk about 45k a day, Rik. So yep. I'm not studying from nothing. I used to do loads of weights when I was a kid. In fact, I know when I've had a good session because we have these shallow steps walking down from our leisure centre. They were really, really shallow. And I'd get to the end and my legs would crumple and I'd literally have to kneel on the floor for a few minutes. But I knew then that I'd had a really good workout. At least that's how I celebrated things anyway. So
we'll don't really do back there in 2 years then. Let's get you in 2 years. Yeah. Falling out the gym after a good leg exercise.
Well, let's not overdo it, Let's not overdo it. But no, I would be so excited to do that because I don't know if you saw the interview I did a bit earlier on in the week, but I was explaining to Sammy at that point that I need to live. Well, I need to live to 118. My son was born when I was 48. And I want to live to see him thrive. And not only that, I want to live to see his children thrive. And I worked out the maths on this one, Rik, and the maths might be a bit out, but on a conservative estimate, I think I need to live to 118 in order to see that out. And I can't do that, looking like this and as healthy as I am. At least in my mind I'm quite healthy, but
what I'd say with that is obviously with type 2 diabetes you are sort of careful what you eat anyway, but then we've got to really look at that it's the best food you're getting in you, so we're cutting out all the ultra processed foods, all the sugars, all the foods that don't do anything good. Let's go down to all the nutritional food and the good supplements that benefit long age as well as knocking back the insulin problems.
Wow, that sounds like a real life changer, that, Rik. I'm quite exhausted just thinking about it.
Cool.
Smile on my face, which is amazing. Wow, that sounds really good. Back to you though. Sorry, I'm robbing all your time. So tell me a bit more. I think you just left the police force now?
Yeah, I've just done. I joined the army in 92, the police in 97. My 30-year service, my pensionable service, is 30 years last Sunday. So I'm day 2 of being a free man. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So and how are you gonna? What are you gonna? Your new life, what will it look like now for you?
Oh, definitely. For so long, the policing is just understaffed. So I haven't been able to get time off. You always have to ask when you can have leave. It's often refused. So I just want to travel for a bit. So this year is definitely going to be just when I can. It's like I've got 2 days off. I can go to France. I can just pop across to Italy and just pop around because I've only got my wife to answer to. So a bit of travel. I've sort of set up my business in the background, but because within the police service they sort of frown on you having other jobs as well, and it gets complicated. So the next financial year, which is in a couple of weeks, that's it. I'm got my own business, start sort of hypnotherapy, mental welfare coaching, and just motivational and going into businesses and telling them about mental welfare in the workplace. So that's my new business, will be preaching what I do.
Right, I've got you. Sorry, I'm just putting my glasses on now because I'm going to put up for people so that everybody knows what your website is if they want to, when they want to get hold of you. And I can't do it without these things on. Otherwise,
It's
I'm
not that one.
around thinking, where am I? Where's my
It's not
banners?
that one. CPTSDrelief.com.
Oh, it's not that one. Sorry, I've got
Not
the
that
wrong
one.
one. I do apologize. Sorry.
So whereas complex PTSD, to post-traumatic stress disorder, is a newer thing. It's not quite recognised by the World Health Organization, but it's come about for children that have prolonged stresses. So it's not just one incident that caused the trauma, but police officers or emergency service staff are dealing with serious incidents of violence after violence after violence, and they're becoming diagnosed with CPTSD. So I've gone in for CPTSDrelief.com, but deals with stresses, anxiety, depression, and everything underneath that.
So CPTSDrelief.com, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me put that up on the screen so that everyone can see it. Oh, excuse me. Relief. CPTSDrelief.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's the one.
Brilliant. Whew. Right, we're done. Okay, so and if people pop along to there'll be all your contact details. Will there be some kind of, you have blogs and stuff like that which people can read?
Yeah, there's all my contact details if they want to book in with me for a free clarity call or just a free chat for 15 minutes. See how can I help them. There's access to a 3-step guide to understanding stress. So it's 3 short videos, just understanding, and it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, and then there's links to all my other services as well that I do. So it's all there.
That's good. It's stress is a really important one to mention because you and I were on an international panel discussion only a few weeks ago talking about stress. And to some extent, we've all got stress in our lives. So if people want to learn a little bit more about that, it sounds like those videos will be very useful. And they can also pick up on the panel discussion that we had a while ago on the Helic group as well. So there's plenty of resources to feast on there. And then, of course, if people would like to get involved in our challenge, then I'll put out some details. I think maybe we might start. I don't see any need to delay this. So maybe we start on Monday, Rik.
Do it.
With this. Would that work for you?
My train is always by the front door. So, whenever you're ready, let's get you going.
Okay. No, let's get it on the road. So yeah, Monday, we'll start on Monday. Maybe not a 5K run on Monday.
I'm ex-military, and I used to beast soldiers and just make them do sort of horrendous things. But I fully understand that now. I'm getting older. I fully understand it's a gentle approach. It's a long-term thing. It's just a long-term gain that's just going to benefit you no end.
Oh, that's great. As I say, I'm still really excited about it. So when people are going back to your website, there's stuff there about the hypnotherapy you do, as well as the stress things we've just been talking about. And then obviously all your contact details.
That's right.
And then people can reach out and tell you about their own fitness needs. And then you can discuss that with them and, see
I don't just look at fitness, it's the whole thing, what you're eating. So you might feel tired, run down and everything like that, but it could be what you're eating rather than not enough exercise. Lots of people work out, but then they eat rubbish as well. So it's putting it all together, and then a positive mindset. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy life.
There's a real tender balance, isn't there, with all those things? If one of them is out of alignment or if one of them is suboptimal, then it just shifts everything else.
Yeah,
it really does. Right, Rik, I'm just so excited about working with you from Monday on this fitness thing. Girls will work out the details between now and then, and we'll get something out so that you can get involved in the challenge beforehand. In fact, for the first session on Monday, Rik, maybe we'll talk about planning for the rest of the challenge.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, people don't have to go out and buy their trainers quite yet. They can listen to us on Monday and just be certain that it's the challenge that it's going to be good for them. And of course it will be. Rik, very exciting to talk to you. I'm going to put these back on again now because we're getting to the end, and DD did want to say goodbye. So although his lips don't move, you can see him saying goodbye. Thank you very much. I'm gonna definitely have you back on. We're gonna do this challenge from Monday, and you know, we'll review it. We'll this benchmark that you've got now of my fitness. We'll see how that moves on over the course of that month, and I'm hoping that, you know, by the end of the challenge, I'll be out there running, you know, and getting back to building a level of fitness that I haven't had for a long, long time. So, Rik, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And have a good evening, whatever you're up to. And to everybody else, bye for now. See you on episode 3 every Friday, 6 p.m. That's where you'll find me. Thanks very much. Bye now.